Young man passes away because he couldn't afford his asthma medication. Something that used to cost him roughly $60 now costs him over $500. Who's responsible? Who's to be held accountable? Who's to be held liable? Let's crack into this.
Cole went for a routine refill on his Advair, and when he got to that pharmacy counter, he learned that it was going to cost him over $500, and that was a shock to him.
$500 for some asthma medication. That would have been a shock to me too. I don't know in their right mind how they could even justify medication for asthma, something so common, to be $500. But let's get into this even more.
Cole had insurance through his Wisconsin employer. What he didn't know, his parents say, is that Optum RX, the pharmacy benefit manager for his plan.
It's funny how they mention Optum RX, but they don't mention United Healthcare. And wasn't United Healthcare CEO on the news for being unalived by Luigi maybe about a year ago now?
Changed its list of covered drugs. The preventative Advair discus inhaler he had used for years cost Cole no more than $66.86. Suddenly, its price tag over $539.
What y'all do? Y'all cured asthma through the prescription now? Like, I just take it one time and I'm through with asthma now? We know that's a lie. But what y'all do? Oh, yeah, because I remember seeing that Advair thing on the TV, and I was wondering what it was about. So I guess y'all just got everybody hooked, and we said we're going to raise the price. Now everybody hooked. They're going to love this, and they're going to buy it. Or is it that Cole's healthcare provider is not going to cover the additional cost, and now he's just SOL, where other people's healthcare providers will? And now who's getting the extra change on top? That's the biggest question. Now, was the extra change on top because of Cole's healthcare provider, or is that for everybody?
Did he tell you that he couldn't get his Advair replenished?
No. When we went to the ICU, we were baffled. We knew he had had an asthma attack, but we didn't understand. And his roommate said to us, he didn't have his Advair.
So Cole was 22, sounded like he was getting his life on the right track, and medication shoots up to $500, and it seems like he didn't want to ask his parents for the money. He didn't want to, put that financial burden on them. So he just was like, I'm going to just try without it. Seems like he didn't have an alternative, anything of that sort. Now he has to pay with his life, sadly.
5 days after his pharmacy visit last year, Cole had a severe asthma attack that led to his death.
5 days, that's sad. I bet only if he could see in the future.
Pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs, are the middlemen that negotiate prices and coverage between the insurance companies, drug makers, and pharmacies, meant to bring down costs for patients.
Anybody who's done any kind of business knows if you have to deal with the middleman, they're either going to make or break your deal.
Cole's Optum RX PBM stopped covering Advair discus at the start of 2024, offering what it says were several less expensive but therapeutically equivalent asthma medications.
So it does seem as though the asthma medication went up across the board, and his healthcare provider said, nah, that's not for us, and that's not going to be for you, not at that price point.
In a lawsuit filed against Optum RX and Walgreens, where Cole went for the refill, Cole's parents said their son did not get the required 30 days notice of the change. His doctor wasn't contacted, and that the pharmacy never provided Cole with any more affordable workarounds. Cole's parents say he left with only an inhaler for emergencies.
It was empty at his house next to his bed.
So somebody dropped the ball. Somebody dropped the ball somewhere. Somebody has to be held liable and accountable. Now you just see that you're a number. Now that you just see you're a part of the business, they're not out for your benefit. You got to take care of yourself. But then how do you even know to take care of yourself? How do you even know you got dropped? How do you even know these things till it's too late? And now the father said that the asthma inhaler was empty sitting next to his bed. So this probably might not have been his first asthma attack.
In a motion to dismiss the Schmidt-Nix lawsuit, Optum RX expressed its deepest sympathies for Cole's death, but says federal law prohibits the case from being brought in state court. Optum also says 3 alternatives, each with a $5 copay, were available, and its system instructed Walgreens to contact Cole's doctor about those options.
So now the healthcare provider like, yo, it ain't our fault. We did our job. They was charging too much, so we lowered it. We found some other alternatives. So don't come calling us talking about, oh, you couldn't afford the medication. Yeah, we couldn't afford it either. That's why we told you to go get them, but somebody didn't relay the message to you. Sorry. So don't look at us trying to be accountable and hold the bag for this, because this ain't our fault. That's what they saying, Is it right? Is it righteous? That's a whole different case. We talking about healthcare. Come on now. There ain't no righteousness in this now, so.
Walgreens, too, offered its deepest condolences and cited privacy reasons for why it can't discuss specifics in the case.
It's funny how both parties don't want to take accountability. And Walgreens said, yo, we just not going to say anything. What I think happened, I think this might fall on Walgreens for not telling him those alternatives. I think Walgreens might not be making enough money on top from selling those alternatives. So they're just not going to mention him at all. Or they just don't care. Whoever was working that day just didn't care. You know, a lot of people don't care about their jobs, so they don't care about you no more. So they probably popped up on the system telling these alternatives, and they'll just turn a blind eye. Cole probably heard $500, and that probably made his stomach turn upside down. He was like, I'm out of here. Who knows? But if you ask me, this might have to fall on Walgreens. Then again, it sounds like the healthcare provider didn't give him enough notification in the beginning. So the parents are suing everybody. I would too. Everybody would get it. Everybody would get it. In this case, everybody. I'm throwing darts at the dartboard or whatever sticks. Yeah, somebody's going to be held accountable for this one. Because as a patient, you don't know. You know, you're not up to date, especially if you're not notified. Now, if they don't have any receipts where they send him notifications or let him know ahead of time and all this, then yeah, the healthcare provider is going to be responsible if they were supposed to alert him. And if Walgreens didn't tell him any alternatives, they got to be held responsible too. Somebody got to hold this. I feel sorry for the family. I feel this is a bad predicament. I mean, we living in America. All this basic stuff, this should be free, especially if you have a job. All this should be free, bro. Or it should be some universal way that it's paid for, you know? But all this, you paying with your life over something that's, you know, what y'all think? Y'all think the healthcare provider was at fault? Y'all think Walgreens was at fault? Y'all think Cole should have went out there and found more options knowing that $500 was too much for a regular person to be paying? Anybody going through this right now? Let us know. Anyway, this is your favorite cousin. Y'all be safe out there. Love and blessings.